G'day, in this video we're going to be using the Easy Cook oven to make Australian damper. This recipe requires 4 ingredients. That is 1/3 a cup of water, 25 grams of butter, you can use salted or unsalted, 1 cup of self-raising flour, and a pinch of salt. This is a salt grinder if you weren't sure. So what we need to do is combine all of these ingredients together and then knead it into a dough, place the dough into the cooking tray and then cook it in the Easy Cook oven. If you've got a mixing bowl, go ahead and use that, but if not, you can use your baking tray for this. Now this is going to make a small damper, so if you've got a smaller baking tray, it's probably better for that, or you could multiply those ingredients, maybe by 3 to make yourself some good wholesome damper for the whole family. With the butter, you just need to break that up and then get it into small chunks. You could also soften this up, maybe in the microwave, until it runs free in there. But just breaking it up like this is fine, and then we're going to mix it in with the dough. Well, the flour, I should say. It's not quite dough yet. Now you can see the butter, I was going to say dough, the butter is broken up and is no longer in big chunks and is well mixed in with this flour mixture. So you can see this is a bit of butter. It doesn't matter if it's in a little bits of lumps like that, as long as it's mostly combined. Alright, so now we just make a little gap in there like that. I was going to say a well, but it's not really a well. Now this is 1/3 of a cup of water, just placing that in here, and then we're going to mix that through. And now's a good time to turn on your Easy Cook oven and just turn it to about 200, maybe a bit less, and preheat it on about 20 minutes. Now that's going to start warming up and we can continue kneading our dough. If you find that your dough is really sticky and stringy even after kneading it for a while, what that means is you've just got too much water in it. So you can fix that by adding small amounts of flour to the dough. Now, once you've finished kneading it, roll it into a ball and then you're ready to bake. Now if you choose, you can actually score the bun with a knife to make it a hot cross bun. So what that will do when you bake, it will just have a weak part as it hits the heat, and it will have a nice pattern in the dough when it rises. It is self-raising flour, so that's all you need to do. I'm being a bit over the top of this because, well, it's a bit difficult for me to film with the camera at the same time as cutting this. So now it's good to go. Now I must point out that this is a non-stick baking tray. If you had a baking tray that wasn't non-stick, you could spray some oil on the inside or line it with baking paper. Now my Easy Cook oven has preheated because the lights come off. I'm going to stick this in there to cook. The other option with these ovens is you can get a non-stick baking surface like this that just goes in there, and you could put the bread in there. Now, out of curiosity, I was going to cook it in this heating tray, which is nice and thick, so it will cause the bread to be nice and evenly cooked. But let's just see how it goes without the tray. So nothing like changes on the fly, so we'll see how that bakes. Pop that lid back on and we'll put it to 30 minutes, but because it is small, it'll probably be done in 20, so we'll go and check it then. So it's almost been 30 minutes or so, maybe probably closer to 20 minutes. And as you can see, the dough is looking pretty good. And now it's just finished baking, so let's go and pull this bun out of the oven. Wow, look at that. Oh, it smells delicious. It did come out a bit deformed, but it essentially is damper. It's a solid bread, so it's not a light and fluffy one. It's a solid one. Now the cross that I've made in there is quite distinct, and that does help cut it up as well if you were to choose to cut it into quarters. So let's get to the cutting. Look at that, beautiful. And I've just topped it up with some margarine. You could use butter as well. So it's a nice bread. It's a bit more like I guess a scone, but with less floury flavour. And it's a nice crunchy bread for you to enjoy. And it tastes delicious. So there you go. It's a perfect bread just to complement a meal. It'd go great with something like a soup or even a roast. And you can also just eat it on its own. It is a bit crumbly, but it's still good. And that's how you make an Australian damper using the Easy Cook. If you didn't have a convection oven like this, you could just use a normal oven, and it's exactly the same really. Alright, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed making this or watching it yourself. Bye!